real simple. The rules be's the rules. So if you put your name in the draft, I don't care if you're from Russia and you stay in the draft, you can't play college basketball. Well, that's only for American kids. What? If your name is in that draft and you got drafted, you can't play because that's our rule.
We just want to know the rules so we can abide by them. Like we don't know what's going on. So that's what I would say. Like we need some leadership. We need somebody to step up and like, here's how it's ran. Here's name, image, and likeness. Here's the transfer situation. Like whatever. Like we can go on to all these different examples, and give us the rules. We'll abide by them. Because that's who the rules are for. The rules aren't for the people who cheat. The rules are for the people that abide by them.
Are you pursuing anybody?
Yeah, you have to. Whoever's out there, you try to pursue. Like it's a weird world. I'd like to get a 36-year-old with 4 kids and hungry for a job. I'd like to get one of those guys. We'll see if one of those guys is available.
In response to a wave of recent criticism from coaches, NCAA President Charlie Baker issued a statement Tuesday in an attempt to clarify the NCAA's position on the college eligibility for players with NBA experience. It read in part, quote, "The NCAA has not and will not grant eligibility to any prospective or returning student athletes who have signed an NBA contract, including two-way contract. The NCAA is exercising discretion in applying the actual and necessary expenses by law to ensure that prospective student athletes with experience in American basketball leagues are not at a disadvantage compared to their international counterparts. Rules have long permitted schools to enroll and play individuals with no prior collegiate experience mid-year." For a little more perspective on the current and future state of college basketball, we're joined by Arkansas head coach John Calipari. John, how much clarity does what you heard from Charlie Baker on Tuesday give you and other coaches now going forward?
Well, the rule was if you put your name in the draft and then you stay in the draft, whether you get drafted or not, you can't play college basketball. I read this statement that, well, it was about a signed contract. I don't think any of us ever heard that. So we can't keep moving the goalpost. What we need to know is, what are you going to let us do? Why was that okay?
Well, John, let me ask you this, and stop me if I'm putting words in your mouth, but I get the sense that you and so many other coaches don't feel as if the NCAA has properly addressed this issue, and maybe so many others as it relates to NIL transfers and that nature. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, John, what gives you the confidence that they can do it at all?
Well, here's what I think has to happen. I think a group of us coaches has got to get together and say, look, here's what we think. Here are the 4 or 5 things we need to do. You ready for this? You get sued, you get sued. But I think if you're doing right by the young people, if you're doing right by the sport, you win those suits. If you're not being fair, you lose those suits. So I'm saying, get the transfer rule right. Get the eligibility. They just cleared a kid for his 8th year of college basketball. Did you hear what I said? Mm-hmm. No, there are no waivers like that. And then I think, again, having a rule that collectives can only deal with on-campus kids that have been there a year. I believe if this keeps going, there's going to be players that were drafted in the NFL that are going to come back and play college football. Is that what we want? I mean, all I'm saying is we can do these things to make this 70%, 80% better, and then work on all that other stuff.
For you, for the coaches and the job you're trying to do, how does all of this impact that on a daily basis?
Well, I'm not changing. I'm going to recruit freshmen. That's what I do. That's how you stay transformational versus transactional, that you help kids change their lives and their families' lives. But it's getting harder when a kid's 18 playing against 24 and 25-year-olds. So I've got to be careful to make sure the freshmen that I am recruiting can compete against older players. Because if they can't, either physically or mentally, or even skill-wise, that's going to be a problem. But there are coaches that have told me, I'm not recruiting any freshmen. That's not where we should be as an organization, as a profession on campuses. It shouldn't be that. And I just think, again, being transformational for young people, that's what we should be about. How do we do it? Let them transfer 4 times? Yeah. And now people are encouraging them to transfer because they benefit by them transferring. But you know what? Having a young person stay and fight and learn and grow at the same place with the same people, we're helping them prepare for life after sport. This is what we're getting away from because we're afraid we're going to get sued. We're afraid we're going to get sued. Hey, there are times you got to do the right thing, and if they want to sue, sue. Just do the right thing. And right now, if you ask all the coaches, they're not. And let me just say this. We should be involved, us coaches, in these decisions. And the reason is we're living it. And it's at our level. It's not at the AD's level. It's not at the presidential level. It's not with the commissioners. It's with the coaches. And we should be able to sit down and say, here's what we think can solve some of these issues. I want a kid to leave to say, this would be great. Had a great experience. I grew. I got my degree, and I'm debt-free, and I have a couple $1 million. I would be ecstatic about that. Why don't we strive for that than what we're striving for right now?
Yeah, because I don't think anyone agrees with anything that's happening right now in terms of the future of the game. John, as always, appreciate the time and especially the perspective here.
Thanks.